The Rams found their hidden gem on defense, a key defensive piece labeled a breakout star for this upcoming 2025 NFL season, and this has massive impacts on the success of the defense heading into next season, as well as a little fun cheer-up story to lead us into the weekend. And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Finehirsh, and before we get into it, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who's been subscribing to the channel recently. The growth has been absolutely amazing. We just hit 3,250 subscribers, and we're looking to hit 4,000 by the end of the month. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell. Hit the bell button right next to the subscribe button so that you do not miss any daily Rams Digest videos and key Rams news throughout this year and beyond. And coming into today, we have an amazing story by Sports Illustrated on a breakout player potentially here for the Los Angeles Rams heading into next season, and how this has a massive impact on the success of the defense heading into that. Now, there are several reasons why the Rams were really able to rebound from a slow start this past season to win the NFC West and win a playoff game as well. And one of the biggest reasons was the insertion of undrafted free agent rookie Omar Spates, the linebacker, into the starting lineup. And look at this here on the bottom. The Rams had the worst linebacker room in the NFL before Spates hit the field. And, upon doing so, the room had changed. They really evolved and improved quickly. And this is key right here, is Omar Spates is a returning player here for the Rams, and how he's really going to be able to put together a lot of really successful plays and seasons for us. And now the key question is, how can you build off of this rookie year, right? We see sometimes, late round picks have some solid rookie year moments and then they kind of flame out, which I don't want that to be the case for Omar Spates or any late round picks or players at all. You want everybody to play to the best of their ability. However, it is yet to be determined how exactly he will be playing this year heading into it. And our Pro Football Focus, again, PFF, who I use a lot of their grades, Jonathan Marcy is really the main one who named Spates as a breakout candidate in 2025. And we have the full breakdown for the quote and what he said coming up for you right here. The Rams linebacker room needed help this offseason, and heading into the draft, there was a strong possibility that they'd address the position on the first 2 days. But instead, they chose to wait until the 5th round before doing so. This was encouraging news for Spates as a 2024 undrafted free agent who gained experience as a starter in this defense last year. He earned a solid 69.4 overall grade. He was at his best defending the run, 77.6, which we went over in a recent video a little while ago, where he ranked 21st for his position, which bodes well for him getting a first crack at the starting job again in 2025. Again, this is from PFF writer Jonathan Marcy, and he's 100% right about what this could mean for Spates and how it really does make an impact the way he's able to stop the run. Again, the bottom 10 run defense is really something the Rams have looked to improve on going into the offseason. And it's so important to have an experienced guy like Spates on the roster to be able to help that out. With an offseason where he has a starting role secured, Spates is now able to focus on physical development, which is something he didn't really get to do last season as he was preparing for the draft as well as fighting for a roster spot. Spates now can expand his influence now that he'll be entering camp with a definitive starting role, which is extremely important because now Spates can focus on growing his game into becoming a better coverage linebacker, which is certainly important in the NFL nowadays. We saw the Eagles with Zach Bond, such an elite coverage linebacker, be able to win the Super Bowl with their powerful defense. So we'll see what Spates does in that coverage role right now, and I want you to comment down below what you think Spates' impact is going to be on this defense, and if you believe he could truly break out into being a borderline star linebacker this upcoming season, because I totally believe that he can. He showed a lot of promise last year in just his first year, just as a rookie, and now coming into the second year, we'll see what he does. We've seen the Rams player development staff, especially on the defensive side of the ball these last couple of seasons, really be able to help these players develop, and it'll be great to see if they can do that again here. And when Spates made the Rams roster, this is what our writer thought of him. Spates had a massive amount of hype as a UDFA due to his film, the level of competition he played against, and his versatility on the football field. He proved his beliefs right with a strong performance in camp, establishing himself as a tackling machine. Yes, Spates 67 tackles again, really only in a half season's worth of work already, which is great. Getting those open field tackles is so important. We saw the Rams 2023 team really struggle outside of Aaron Donald with, those open field tackles, and now 2024 they improved, and now this year we'll see if they can improve under now year 2 of Chris Shula as the defensive coordinator, which is something to note here for the Rams as well. Going into year 2 of a coordinator is super duper important. And before I go any further, make sure to give a thumbs up on this video right now. Like the video for Omar Spates and the young defense continuing to develop here. That's going to be extremely important for them. And, he expects Spates to surely make his way into the starting lineup, as do I and many Rams fans, especially with the departure of Ernest Jones. While Spates should make, plays early, perhaps move on to special teams initially, that he's not only on the 53-man roster, but let alone on the game day roster with the amounts of playing, for the LSU Tigers. And safe to say he blew past these expectations, and he should have a monster second year with new teammates Nate Landman and Chris Paul Jr. And I also want you to comment down below right now, who do you think the other starting linebacker should be? Should it be, the new signee Nate Landman, who's had NFL starting experience, or Chris Paul Jr., a rookie, a 5th-round pick who the Rams are really high on, because I don't think it'll be Troy Reeder. A lot of you were saying in the comments about undrafted free agent Anthony Dolak, or Sean Dolak, and I definitely believe that Dolak has a chance to make this team. I knew he was on as an undrafted free agent, but I've been seeing in the comments a lot of your fans of him. I've looked into him, and I've become a fan of his as well. I do believe they should go with Nate Landman as a starter, just because, again, with a Super Bowl contender, you want to have more veterans out there on the field, especially to have somebody who can help out Spates develop a little bit more as well, because Chris Paul Jr. isn't going to help Spates development. They could help each other, but they need to develop, separately before they can develop together as young players overall. And, going on, now to our second story of the video, we have a really fun, pickup story going into the weekend. I thought it was really funny, at least. Well, before we get into that, we do have to go over Omar Spates' stats right here real quick. And Spates in 17 games didn't have any sacks, only 2 tackles for loss. Again, the 67 combined tackles, 37 solo tackles, which is exactly what you love to see. Spates not really someone who needs to rush the passer with the Rams' elite pass rush. But again, he was able to play in all 17 games. He was healthy. Didn't see the expanded snap counts really until, week 9, 10, 11. So already getting 67 tackles, as I already mentioned. Super duper important. But now to our little, pick-me-up story for the weekend. The Rams welcomed in one of their key new offensive pieces this offseason in a very, very exciting way. And we're going to get into that right now with this story brought to you by Rams Wire. Remember when Davante Adams said that Los Angeles Rams head coach Sean McVay sent him the self-narrated highlight tape during the Rams recruitment process? Well, McVay did it again, this time in front of the rest of the team. The Rams coach went through some of Adams' best game tape during a team film session yesterday in a video clip released by the team. Yes, this video was hilarious, and it was a really fun way, in my opinion, to welcome the new star receiver. And like this video as well, if you are excited for Davante Adams heading on to the Rams this upcoming season. And in it, McVay showed off different sensational plays from Adams, including an awesome over-the-shoulder reception, and drew a few whistles and claps from teammates. Matthew Stafford was able to sneak a little smile in there as well after seeing what his newest weapon can bring to the office. And this leads me to a very interesting point here. Now we've been used to the Puka and Cooper duo for the last couple of seasons. Now we have a bit of a new duo here in LA with Davante Adams and Puka Nacua now. And I want you to comment down below. What do you believe this duo will do? Me personally, I think that this duo has the shot to have 2 1,000-yard receivers this upcoming season. And a 1,000-yard rusher as well with Kyren Williams with that little big 3. You can have the triple 1,000-yard trio right there as well. But speaking only on the receivers, they definitely have the chance to have that 2 receivers with 1,000 yards. Kupp and Woods did it 1 year back, I believe the year that they made the Super Bowl before Kupp sadly got hurt and couldn't play in the playoff run. That is something to keep an eye on here. Will they do that? Because we've seen a lot of teams have that. The Eagles, I believe, did it. I know the Bengals didn't because T. Higgins missed some time, but if he was healthy, he would have. And having these two receivers makes it almost impossible for defenses to be able to cover the Rams because you can't double either of them. Because Davante Adams, he is 32, but he has good size as well, 6'1", 215, former All-Pro. He hasn't shown any signs of slowing down. He had over 1,000 yards last year. He still had 8 touchdowns. He still has great field awareness, and he's never been someone whose speed is the most important part of his game. He's not slow by any means. He's faster than Puka, but he's not somebody where it's like a Tyreek where you're a bit concerned because of the injury he had last year. With Davante, that is not necessarily the case here at all. And the Rams quickly snatched up Adams after he was released by the New York Jets to pair him with Nacua. And this duo should be among the best in the NFL in 2025, as I just said. Nick Wright on First Things First recently also ranked Puka and Davante as the 5th best wide receiver duo in the NFL. And Stafford now has 2 of the best receivers over the past 2 years on his side of the ball. And the Rams are poised to make a valiant defense of their NFC West title this season. I fully agree. I do believe the Rams definitely have a solid chance to win the division. Again, we don't know the full schedule breakdown of that just yet, as that will come next week. Now we got to look at Puka Nacua's stats here, though, as this has a key impact heading into next year. Only 11 games. He had to miss some games. 79 receptions, 4 touchdowns. He had a total of 1,036 yards, but 990 receiving yards. But look at this receiving yards per game. 94.0, which actually led the league last year, the entire NFL, despite him missing time. And he could easily lead the league again with him not being able to be doubled anymore. Hopefully a healthier season from him as well. And now having Davante, both of them could easily be tops of the league in yards per game. As I said, this duo has such a high ceiling heading into next season and hopefully beyond. Hopefully Stafford comes back and Davante opts into his option where they're able to extend Puka and give him the money he deserves. And this receiver duo could be a thing of the next couple seasons with Stafford at the helm as well. And that is it for this episode of Rams Digest. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, so you do not miss any new daily Rams Digest videos coming at you. Comment down below your thoughts on Omar Spates' breakout, who his starting linebacker partner should be, as well as the ceiling of the Puka Nacua and Davante Adams wide receiver duo. I hope you all enjoyed your week and have a great start to your weekend. I'll be back soon for another episode of Rams Digest. Have a great rest of your day.